So, is there a myth that you would like to bust about mead making that is just outrageous? I think you already did a couple, like you don't have less than for 2 or 3 years and before you try it. But is there anything else out there that you've come across that is just
Oh, I've done
outrageous?
so many of the I've hit there's a myth about sunlight in mead for a while. People and they
Okay.
took it from the beer side, obviously if
Mm-hmm.
sunlight hits hops and then you have a reaction there, you get all that stuff. I've done that. The one that I have uh right now that I'm excited for, that I've already done the test. I just have to get my tasting notes is
Mm-hmm.
degassing a mead versus not degassing. And so essentially, as you did whenever you made your mead, going every day or every other day and just kind of lightly stirring to get that CO2 to leave. So I did that. I did a mead or made a mead that was degassed every day and made one that just sat there. It was just kind of degassed naturally. They both fermented in the same manner, and I back sweetened to the same manner, and so I'll do a tasting on that to like see if there's any difference. I think there's probably a couple more. A little bit ago, I had like made a Google Doc of things I wanted to prioritize, so I don't remember them off the top of my head. But
Right.
there's always lots of interesting tests. One that would be fun to do in the old mead books, they talk about in order to make mead, you need to heat your honey in your water essentially and let it not boil, but you want it to get up to like, I don't know, 105 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you skim the stuff that comes up from the honey. And I think it stems from a different time when honey was maybe less pure than it is now.
Oh
Honey
yeah,
is
I can see
generally
that. Yeah.
has less bee parts and stuff in
Mhm.
it, although it is quality when you have honey that has bee parts in it. That means that it's been unadulterated. So
True.
stuff like that,
Hmm.
there's lots of old myths that haven't been truly tested that would be fun.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. You're talking about experiments and stuff like that. It just had me kind of thinking, like, I know you said 40 hops, but it'd be pretty interesting if you could probably reuse your footage, I would think, in a way. It might maybe be in the butt, but you probably reuse your footage. Like, all right, I this is Citra. I want to compare
Hmm.
Citra to all the citrus substitutes. So
Oh
if you
yeah.
have like citrus, centennial, blah 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 blah, and you see how those slight subtle differences are they really substitutes, right? Because I've used substitutes in my beers before, but I didn't have, let's say, the other hop on hand to even see what it even smelled like. Because like, well, I had this one later on. This fits that category for herbal notes or whatever that I'm wanting, so I'll just use this to be done with it. Didn't know
Yeah. I like that idea.
was it true to style? I don't know, but yeah, I think it's yeah, I get yeah, I think experimenting is fun. I need more time in the day. Is what I need.
I feel that now. I've got a kid, and that has put a giant dampener on the amount
Oh,
of time.
so
So I have.
all right. So I'm gonna ask this one last question. Then, okay. So, how do you find balancing that? Being,
Mm,
I heard you're married, and now that you have a
mm.
child, I'm sure you probably. I'm assuming that you may have a full time job, and you're doing this on top of that. You're entering competitions. Like, how are you finding the time to balance all this stuff now?
A very patient wife, and then just
Awesome.
trying to.
Shout out to the wife.
She married into this hobby is the way I
Okay.
like to say it. So we
Yeah.
started dating 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I by that point I had a established YouTube channel, and I had a very clear like this is something I'm doing, and so she's been super patient to like let me continue to do this and continue to dive into the hobby. Honestly, that's the biggest thing there is like just that patience, and then honestly finding time. A lot of my time is like 10-15 minute chunks, and if
Okay.
that's all I get, that's fine. But a bulk of my content creation is a lot quicker. I used to do a lot more like in front of a camera talking about each step I was doing and like making it more interactive. And nowadays it's a very like run and gun situation. If I'm having to move meads over, I'm treating it more like B-roll. I'm not really talking to the camera. I'm just recording myself doing that, and then later on, I'll take and voice over it or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's just changed the
Mhm.
way I do content, but I still am producing content itself.
So
The
your
balance is,
velocity still the same then?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome,
So
man.
it's still honestly it's slowed down, but it's not stopped by any means.